Chapter 3, in which a search is organized, and Piglet meets the happy again. Outside Pooh's house, it's a bright, sunny day, and Pooh has cleaned his pantries outside and is counting his pots of honey. Rabbit bustles up on an errand and interrupts Pooh's counting.
12, 13, 14.
Hello, Pooh!
14. Or was it 15? Bother, that's muddled me.
Have you seen...
Hello, Rabbit. 14, wasn't it?
What was?
My pots of honey, what I was counting.
14? That's right.
Are you sure?
No. Doesn't matter.
I'd just like to know, so as I could say to myself, I've got 14 pots of honey left. Or 15, as the case may be. It's sort of comforting.
Well, let's call it 16. What I came to say was, have you seen Small anywhere about?
I don't think so. Who is Small?
One of my friends and relations.
I haven't seen anybody today, not just as to say, hello, Small, to. Did you want him for anything?
I don't want him, but it's always useful to know where a friend and relation is, whether you want him or whether you don't.
Oh, I see. Is he lost?
Well, nobody has seen him for a long time, so I suppose he is. Anyhow, I promised Christopher Robin I'd organize a search for him, so come on.
Pooh waves goodbye affectionately to his 14 pots of honey and hoped they were 50, and he and Rabbit go out into the forest.
Now, this is a search, and I've organized it.
Done what to it?
Organized it, which means, well, it's what you do to a search. When you don't look all in the same place at once. So I want you, Pooh, to search at the 6 pine trees first, and then work your way towards Owl's house, and look out for me there. Do you see?
No. What?
Then I'll see you at Owl's house in about an hour's time.
Is Piglet organized too?
We all are.
Rabbit bustles off. Pooh begins to cast about confusedly where he is, and gradually begins to more seriously search here and there in an absent-minded sort of way.
Oh, bother. I don't know what Small looks like, so how shall I know when I found him? I wonder if he's the sort of friend and relation who settles on one's nose, or the sort who gets trodden on by mistake. Well, if Piglet knows what Small looks like, then I shall begin my hunt for Small by looking for Piglet. It's no good looking for someone before you know who you are looking for. And it's no good looking at the 6 pines tree for Piglet because he's been organized in a special place of his own. So I must look for the special place first, so I can find Piglet. Then I can look for Small, to find Small. And then I shall look for Rabbit to tell him I found Small. And then Small again to tell him I found Rabbit. Which makes it look like a bothering sort of day.
Pooh is so distracted by his thinking about what to look for that he forgets to look for pieces of forest to step on and falls into a ditch.
I fly!
Pooh lands in a shallow hole.
Ing! What Owl does, but I don't think that's how he stops.
Ow!
He has landed on Piglet, but doesn't realize it.
That's funny. I said ow without really oohing.
Help!
That's me again. I've had an accident and fallen down, and now my voice has squeaky things I've been asked it to because I've done something to myself inside. Bother!
Help!
There you are. I say things when I'm not trying, so it must be a very bad accident. A very bad accident to Pooh Bear. It's Piglet. Where are you?
Underneath.
Underneath what?
You! Get up!
Oh!
Pooh rights himself.
Did I fall on you, Piglet?
You fell on me.
Piglet searches herself for damage.
I didn't mean to.
I didn't mean to be underneath. But I'm all right now, Pooh, and I'm so glad it was you.
What's happened? Where are we?
I think we're in a sort of pit. I was walking along looking for somebody, and then suddenly I wasn't anymore. And just when I got up to see where I was, something fell on me. And it was you.
So it was.
Yes. Pooh, do you think we're in a trap?
Pooh hadn't thought about that at all, but now he nodded.
I think so, Piglet. Do you remember how we once made a Pooh trap for heffalumps?
I do, Pooh.
Well, I think this is probably a heffalump trap for Poohs.
What happens when the heffalump comes?
Perhaps he won't notice you, Piglet, because you're a very small animal.
But he'll notice you, Pooh.
He'll notice me, and I shall notice him. We'll notice each other for a long time, and then he'll say, "Ho ho!"
What will you say?
I shan't say anything. I shall just hum to myself, as if I was waiting for something.
Then perhaps he'll say, "Ho ho!" again.
He will. He will say it again, and I shall go on humming. And that will upset him. Because when you say "ho ho" twice in a gloating sort of way, and the other person only hums, you suddenly find, just as you begin to say it a third time, well, you find...
What?
That it isn't.
Isn't what?
Well, it just isn't.
You mean it isn't ho-ho-ish anymore?
Yes, Piglet, that's it exactly. If you went on humming all the time, because you couldn't go on saying "ho ho" forever.
But he'll say something else.
That's just it. He'll say, "What's all this?" And then I shall say, and this is a very good idea, Piglet, which I've just thought of. I shall say, "It's a trap for a heffalump, which I've made and I'm waiting for the heffalump to fall in." And I shall go on humming. That will unsettle him.
Pooh, you've saved us.
Have I?
Of course. You see, it goes like this. First he will say in a great big voice, "Ho ho!" Then I'll say, "Tra-la-la, tra-la-la," and then he'll be so surprised, but he'll try to startle me again. "Ho ho!" And then I'll hum, "Chillum-tum, chillum-tum," and what will wow him, and he will say, "What's all this?"
Pooh is daydreaming about his honey pots and is falling asleep, occasionally nodding and saying "oh" and "well" several times as he drifts off. Piglet begins to be very excited about her own daydream. Piglet, the very small animal, is not afraid of a great, big heffalump.
And I'll tell him, "Hello, this is a trap I've made, and I'm waiting for a heffalump to fall into it." "Oh, are you sure?" "Yes. I thought it was a trap I'd made to catch piglets." "Oh, no. Oh, I must have got it wrong then." "I'm afraid so. I'm sorry." And then I'll go back on humming. Well, I suppose I'd better be getting back." "Must you? Well, if you see Christopher Robin anywhere, you might tell him I want him." "Oh, certainly. And then he'll scurry off just like that. And then what you say? Pooh? Pooh?
But Pooh is fast asleep. Piglet is starting to fade also. Such a prolonged and exciting daydream has worn out such a small animal.
Oh, I shall have to do your part also.
Christopher Robin enters. He scans the forest as if looking for someone or something, and espying Pooh and Piglet, makes a slow way towards them. They don't notice him being down in a hole.
You will say, "Oh, Piglet, how brave and clever you are." And I'll say, "Not at all, Pooh. And I shall tell Christopher Robin all about how you saved us." "Oh, no, Pooh, only if you insist." "I do."
Piglet's head finally relaxes. She's asleep. Christopher Robin has finally arrived at the gravel pit, and he looks down, and there are Pooh and Piglet with their backs to him, both dreaming happily.
Ho ho!
Piglet is startled and frightened out of her skin, but has the presence of mind to not turn around.
"It's the heffalump. Now then. Tra-la, tra-la-la. Tra-la-la, tra-la-la. Rum-tum-tum.
Tra-la-la, tra-la-la, rum-tum-tum, diddle-um.
You said the wrong thing. He ought to have said ho-ho again. Perhaps I'd better say it for him. Ho-ho!
How did you get there, Piglet?
This is terrible. First he talks in Pooh's voice, and then he talks in Christopher Robin's voice, and he's doing it so as to unsettle me. This is a trap for Pooh's, and I'm waiting to fall in it. Ho-ho! What's all this? And then I say ho-ho again.
What?
A trap for ho-ho! I just
itchy spot on his back, and in reaching around to scratch it, suddenly notices Christopher Robin behind them.
Hello.
Hello, Pooh.
Piglet looks up at Christopher Robin and realizes her horribly embarrassing mistake. Then she sees something.
Pooh, there's something climbing up your back.
I thought there was.
It's small.
Oh, that's who it is it?
Christopher Robin, we found small.
Well done, Piglet.
Let's tell Rabbit that Piglet has found Small.
And we shall take Small with us, so we shan't have to find him again afterwards.
That's just what I was thinking, Piglet.
Christopher Robin helps them out of the pit.
There we are. All set. Off we go.
They head off together, arm in arm, singing.
Tra-la-la, tra-la-la, tiddle-um-tum, tiddle-um-tum, tra-la-la, tra-la-la,
rum-tum-tum, tiddle-um.